I would like to thank Josh and Tom and everyone else involved in making this evening something real. I will share a few lines from the Dyzgraphxst, uh, from which I'm reading from the territories of the Lake Scugog First Nations. Gratefully. I will read from the third act of the book, Anti-Episteme, which is a series of dream and returns. Return number 6. What about merely the roads then, or the epiphanic hour after them? The newest version of myself, fit to name you a thing. And though I think about you, I'm shaken. I set us a meaning while you weren't looking. I study the language that would call us home. The same one to calm the baby. Here, let me arise singing if that would soothe you. That all I am is evidenced, or else for who, like me, to stand in red sap, dripping into nib, the match. Dream number 7. An amateur is in the streets. To the amateur, we are lost and startled. To the amateur, all the people in the streets are dancing, are only alive when not dragged. The sweat of the amateur in the streets, with her clipboard, with her hips tight against a banner, with the words in bold red, nothing is better than peace. Return number 8. Still warm in this waterhole warning crowds, away from narrow and tight jeans and no problem, man. This place where worn trousers go suddenly red with dirt, mud manganese, speedboats now cutting through spastic fog, pushing from a riverbank's newly burning sideburn in Kikuyu. Still, suddenly coat, suddenly Yemen, and suddenly behind me, a leaping year. Abruptly, the maze leveling Lakai, Gabon, Burundi, Bujudara, Congo, here. Hold this, and my problem, and dream. Dream number 9. Me here house belong a first. I've entered the motherland and I feel orphaned. While it is dark, I'm on standby. I forage for breath, meaning new D is the same old African D I picture myself, now leaving again, corroded and in flight, rusted, late with sparks brushing from my tongue. This coming home wilder in Creole, left in a roundabout, the Mombasa of whose dreams. And with Kiswahili precautioning a clear Creole, lifting the tongue from whitewashed mud houses. What have I learned of Inalingua from women uneager to peddle this, all this back for $1 American, forgetting this same augury? I have a problem with dream. Return number 10. Fear is an infection in a refugee camp. The Indian poet brings and greetings from her students. At least the ones she remembers stumbling out the rear of her mind. As I remember a fence I was sure I'd never seen, fondly weaving dreams in God's own country. A vital goodness in that world she believes. And in spite of all the hard things, I won't bother listing now. No, a campaign ain't worth shit unless shit stirs the mo better. Plimeye, and what for? And for whose sake do I feel only anger? Sweet jolts, disappointment gone from me and hope ran cold. Say nothing of art, nothing of the variable logs. Again here, I have this problem with dream. Dream number 11. They couldn't have gone anywhere if they wanted. If I wanted, I could collate someone out of an onion, cutting their tears from settler banter, speaking involuntarily the names of poems, memes, some dramatic dogma they hope will soon recognize. Slowly, at their backs, a sapling gives in to gravity, though maybe she's right. The world is this grace, or victory that ought not to unburden me, because all we have done is little good. And that toppling sapling I can't quite stop imagining. Its slash of land, a seed crossing water below, a burial for how long? This problem I have with dream. Return number 12. I sit in a boat and be cold. Fouette se manier bête, yet in this tent I let you sicken me with song. I'm in you, poet from Cyprus, to insist in these last days you keep your fire, a mod guitar, the impossible early languages we unearthed, how they took our voices and left us, still encamped, maybe. Our hope is in the poet from Finland, reseeding this Cayman in its ripped 2018, and what else to do? Still, to be reminded of this unsleeping word in this unsleeping country, north of the Tropic of Cancer, or what God's birthplace, and of course, this, such a place would be a transit town gathering us up, the embers of failed revolutions, and so, what is happening now, poet? Do you make a fine noise of hour and quiet in Hebrew? Make them all listen and rethink? Do the dogs mind lies? In Española, do they mind the black mouth weeping? Speaking then, we believe they bark in Swahili, so no credit here. I have this problem dream. Dream number 13. Like a stack of worn shirts piled before us, sigh in Polish, or the fights that await us 15 houses hence in Arabic. How unchanged, the work of anything into shape, a shard, sharp with hope. A look can draw the missing piece into masterpiece, whole. Cree it not, draw these earths we refuse. Prepare for them a whole existence hostile to the shopping cart. Yet unrealized future. The spider means to understand this war. And do I know what was then has come again? Do I know of the thing that could be wrong again, the thing that slows and slows again, that hits and hits again, sickness? And my problem with dream. Return number 14. How many ways can you disappear a people? Dignity by dignity, slant word by slant word. Who turn grave, grave by the curve and measure of graves, after typhoons, cyclones, the mounting electro wastelands by the freshwater, and wrath of tumors as bright brush on the forehead, or covering over knees, the work of minutes grating against millions in flooded cities. What garments I wrap this zealous hand in, steering east all through the night. Come the morning, I will not be long enough and patient enough to level a quick word, a way out. How many ways can you empty a people? Hope by hope. I do not venerate men at all. I have a problem with dream. Dream number 15. Draw me the waking up, the gray hardness of the mind pressed into the early hours of another house, another law, and fog, a brown century before something like sunlight. What kind of person dreams while the world petrifies? Its pieces sharp and shamed for red dirt and hard morning, simple. Things are hard, you harden up, and the softness that lets you give one thing, lets you walk off feeling some small need to be not much for symbols anymore, careful to have a problem with dream. Return number 16. Let no Westerners back into this camp, lucid with insurrection, limp, still in their childhood. Refuge is a guilt, is a helmet, still a helmet, is a library overfull with dense descriptions of coming and going. If to agree that this sword of battered words is sharper paired with helmet, paired with boot, helmet, only half full of a shared language, logging the tides half emptied of reefs, and again the pilfered logs, the madness of royal seals, patriotic unthinking, records lead-born and hand-worn, if to stay assemble, to which year to return, having been emptied of the need to dream, who will stay here long enough to exit with me out of them long days, for as long as it go take, I am asking now, and in spite of my problem with dream. Dream number 17. Let them say I have seen the long days. I have seen them rising from the huts as smoke. I have seen them as forests turn brown and flat for remembering themselves, wishing that we had not factored into their algorithms. And now I have seen the long days arrive with things I do not know. Nothing too much if I'm lonely. Nothing too little if I'm able to drain the desert and leave the ocean empty, long enough for a new beginning. Why have the long days arrived far from the valley of the kings? Still, with the machinery bearing the insignia of ruling governments. What monotonous pride if they say I drank milk they bought with a fraction of our natural selection. Believe them such reckless regard for a few hours, over the long reach of us into some hot place, a future perhaps. I have seen us with their machinery and watched them arrive, knowing our desires and leaving with our deaths. And now you have too. Where is your problem with dream? Return number 18. For as long as we've had dreams, we've had rivers. For as long as we've had fears, we've been rivers. We've been legions held ransom for our thirst. We wake up ready to stay awake to the rush wild innermost that time can offer us, to the weak old boats that have come to pick us up with rumors of our innocence, and sad strong songs that pile up before the rain, the good pungency of wind through the corn, and once full creeks, grabbed guns, the vroom vroom of a crushed mood, coming back as you and only you, please, you without helmet, full of song, full of wine, and just as you with sword, heavy with the ordination of mud, worn out of dream, to take up my request, to lower the blood pressure. Keep alive a word for this problem and this dream. Thank you.